I want to introduce you to the host of this session, Scott Roxborough. He's a correspondent, German correspondent for The Hollywood Reporter. Please welcome Scott.
Yes, hi. Thanks so much for coming out. This will be a talk with this year's winner of the Hollywood Reporter Award, Christopher Doyle. It's the first time we've given it to a cinematographer, and I think you'll probably find out why if you don't already know.
I hope.
Most likely the last time. I think after this we should just burn the award down and throw it away. For those of you who don't know Christopher Doyle's work, I mean, he'll probably explain it better up here, so I'll let him come up. But just a couple of names of films: In the Mood for Love, Hero. He's Kung Ching Express. With his cinematography, people argue, and I would be one of them, that he's changed the way we see cinema, particularly out of Asia, where he started. But he also comes with an attitude that I think is sorely missing in this industry. I think you'll see what I mean when I get him up here. Please give a warm welcome for Christopher Doyle.
Thank you, Cole. It's all downhill from now.
Always playing to the home crowd.
Yes, now for the next act.
Oh, careful. I think you dropped it.
I lost my hand.
Here. So, I want to stick that behind.
Oh, no. Oh, shit. No. Wait. So I'm wearing this just in case any of you are pirating this talk. You know, we have the copyright here.
Yeah, right. Well, we've got a bit of time, so maybe we'll
This is so formal. I mean,
it is very formal. I'm always formal.
Where's the beer?
Where's
the beer? Where's the beer? I mean, where's the beer sponsorship?
You can maybe call to pull up
so
a
you
couple
said
of
I
bills.
changed the look of cinema.
People have said that, and I would argue it. But
you'd argue it. Fuck you very much.
I'm not sure if you would. Be careful.
You're supposed to give me the Bollywood Reporter Award.
The award comes tonight. You have to work for it first. Well, if this is work.
And I drink sparkling water.
No, I mean, I wanted to go through some of like your.
I don't believe anyone's seen any of my films.
You don't think so? We can do a quick survey.
No. The pirated videos. I mean, I've been selling them online for. Nobody buys them in Cologne. It's very strange.
Is it? Just specifically Cologne. We'll see what we can do about that. I wanted to ask first. I mean. Your work obviously stands for itself, I would say, but you've got a whole...
I can't stand for myself. Is that
well, yeah, that's the thing. But
I fall down more often than I stand.
But I wanted to know, I mean, you started as a cinematographer relatively late.
32.
32, which is unusual for your profession.
3 years ago.
You've been doing fairly well since then. What was it that... growing up, and in all the careers that you had before you started cinematography, what was it that caught you visually? I'd be really interested to know what you were inspired by, or
women. Isn't it obvious? I mean, someone like Maggie or Gong Li or Tilda Swinton, or I'm not lighting the film; they're lighting the film. They are the energy, the chi, and in Chinese Tai Chi, The chi, the energy, the resonance, this wonderful gift that they give to us. And I think I'm just a bridge. I often say, there are three people in cinema: the person in front of the camera, the audience, and me. The rest is just packaging. The rest is a process. The rest is encouragement. The rest is preparation. The rest is, money sometimes, etc., etc. But actually, the real astonishing pleasure that I have every day of my life is that I am a bridge between the audience and these wondrous people who dare to give so much of themselves. We have our suits and we have our so-called PhDs. So you have the PhD. We have all this. What's the word? Support. We have a structure around us, but an actor has nothing. An actor is just who he or she is, no more or less. And what an astonishing privilege to actually be able to share with some people, for example, now, this gift that they're giving to us. That's it.
How did you even get involved in it? Because your first
Women,
film was.
I told you.
How did yeah, but it was what, 1983 was your first film, The Day on the Beach from Edward Young. How did you become involved with that? Because you didn't have a history before.
No. I mean, in my family, they even now, I mean, the batteries would rot in the camera before we finished a roll of film. You know, we were very non-visual, and to me, literature has always been. I mean, even now, I don't watch films. You know, I'd rather read. So I don't know. I think again, it was a period of Chinese history where things were evolving, where people had, as they do now, certain aspirations to go further, and I just happened to be there at that time. And to me, actually, film came to me through language. So you know, I went to Hong Kong to study Chinese, and then whatever, you know, I just fell into this. This hole, which Cologne is trying to
pull you out of.
Pull me out of. Yeah.
So then, I mean, you said
this is very serious stuff. You know.
Is it? We don't have to.
Can we make some jokes? You know?
Of course, please. Well, then tell me, because you started in Hong Kong, and you said you got to cinema through language, the first learning Chinese.
I mean, my first friend is Trey Chen. My first Chinese friend is Trey Chen, who is he used to be the father of Chinese rock. Now he's the grandfather of Chinese rock. And yeah, I think it was through music. I think also, if you say, quote unquote, we've changed cinema because we freed it to be jazz. I think that to me, that the dance between the actor and the camera, the give and take between an idea and its fruition, the changing climate, all these things. I think to me, you know, filmmaking is a dance. It is a jazz. It's a jazz. It's a combo. It's, you know, we get together, we start together, we go off on our little solos, and we try to end together as happily as possible. And so I think that's it. I think music. And the structures of literature have informed the way we work more than traditional filmmaking, or you know, the most beautiful part of In the Mood for Love is when we cross the line. You know where we cross the line, because that's what's happening emotionally to the actors. When I worked with Barry Levinson, you know, we'd always have these arguments with the continuity person, because she said, no, he was looking to the right now, and now they've gone over here. And I think this is it. I mean, to me, you know, it is this dance. It's people in space. You know, when you have someone like Ray Fiennes or Jeremy Irons saying, "What is my motivation for opening the door?" You didn't check your paycheck. And I think, to me, you know, lighting is feng shui. Lighting is about, you know, creating the space. For example, the way they put the lights here makes us sit here, basically, as opposed to over there. And I think this is it. This is the great pleasure of my journey is that I haven't gone to film school. Mm-hmm. You know, they wouldn't let me in. and so you have all these rules that you don't know you're breaking. And it's so freeing. And then I've done many, I think I've done about 30 films with first-time, you know, young directors. And they always ask the stupidest questions. They say, "What if we do this?" Are you serious? And then you say, "Well, what if we do this?" You know, and it's a great, I think this is it, that the great pleasure of my journey is that we don't know what the fuck we're doing. But we're going to do it, and no matter what, you know, we're going to do it as we can. You do what you can. As some of the older people in the audience know, as a man, you do what you can, not what you want.
Is that way of working?
Did you hear that, girls? You know, there's a lot of people nodding that they've had this experience somehow.
Yeah, well, I think we all could.
We've suffered through this doing what you can, not what you want kind of moment. Yeah.
Did that way of working come directly out of being in Hong Kong?
Where is the simultaneous translation?
I'm not sure. I don't have a plug in my ear. I don't know if there is a simultaneous translation. I think they're assuming
You've been here for
speaks English.
How many years? And you're not speaking to me in German?
Do you want me to speak to you in German? Yeah, soll ich das dann machen?
I can say liebe dich.
We can try Chinese.
I can say warum. I can say warum.
That's about all you need,
about
really.
It.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I do what I can, not what I want. Warum? Yes,
Then
Chris.
tell me, did that way of working that you described, did that come specifically out of the Hong Kong environment? I mean, with working with Wong Kar-wai and the films that you made with him are perhaps some of your best known. Is that...
Excuse me, I'm leaving now. I've had enough of this. You know. What do you mean? My next film is my best film.
Your next, some. I didn't say
my
they were your
best.
best.
My next film is my best film.
But you, I mean, working with him, is it correct what I've heard that you didn't have a script going in? That he didn't have a script?
No, every day.
How did you work?
Ashes of Time. I don't know if you know this film. In Chinese, it's called Dong Xie Xi Du, which means the evil from the West and the what do you call it? The base person from the East. I still have no idea which is which, who is who, because we kept on changing all the time. Because I think again, you know, that with Wong Kar-wai, even with us, even with Gus Van Sant, you know, Paranoid Park was like 12 pages of script, and then they skate. You know, and a porn film only and then they fuck. You know, I mean
yeah.
and then they fight. You know, a martial arts film is, and I think that's it. That you have this astonishing freedom to go where you go intuitively, or you go, you know, because it's there. I mean, the intention is evolving. I'm always astonished when I'm on a set and the director is actually looking at the script. You know. If you don't know your own script, what the hell are you doing here? You know? I mean, in my journey is we prepare as much as possible and I throw it away, because it says it was a rainy hot day and she was very lonely. And then the sun is out, the mosquitoes are biting you, and you don't know what to do. You know, so what is the intent of the idea? You know, then you can go further. Then actually, you know, I did a film with a writer director, and he says, you know, you have to shoot it as written. Are you crazy? You wrote it alone in a little, you know, whatever, your little cabin in the mountains, or your little, you know, your apartment in New York City. Yeah, that's one process. But there's three stages. One is the writing, one is the doing, and then there's the editing. You know, so I mean, unless you're open to that give and take between what's happening and what's possible, as opposed to, you know, then you just keep on making Fast and Furious number 75.
Right.
There I was, offered Harry Potter 3 and 4, 635 days in Pinewood Studio. I said, are you kidding? Why the fuck would you want to spend 635 days with Harry in Pinewood Studios, where the only food that you can eat is Indian food? I mean, have you ever been to Pinewood? The only food that you can eat there is Indian food. You thought you were going to take over this, right?
I had no illusions.
Good luck.
I had no illusions going in, so there's no worries.
You thought I was controllable, right?
Well, then do you think there's a fundamental misunderstanding of what cinema is when it comes to
Yeah, it's
the
called
industry?
moving pictures. It's called movies. I mean, why? This is the great, for example, Hero. Hero is a picture in color, because it's about color. It's not, you know, even David Lynch would say, the film is the thing. You don't ask a painting to explain itself, right? It is what it is. And I think this is the journey that we have to take, and some of us are trying to do step by step, you know, to move away from the literary, you know, shackles of traditional filmmaking that based on a true story. This is a true story. No matter how many lies I tell you, it's true to me. Right? I mean, I think this is extremely important, that every film is true to itself, and it has to be true to its ideas, it has to be true to its colors, it has to be true to, you know, so why are we, you know, how many good Shakespearean films have you seen? He's not a bad writer, they say, but I would say there's nobody in this room could count more than 5. There's been like 10,000. There's probably been 10,000 Shakespearean films
Probably
made.
10 this year.
Yeah,
So.
But only 3 or 4 of them, you know. Me and Baz, you know. Me and Baz. You know. We Australians, we know what it's all about. It's pizzazz.
But so in doing that, I mean, I'm wondering, do you think there's a fundamental misunderstanding in terms of the approach? I mean, you have worked on big Hollywood style film. You did a James Ivory film, a Merchant Ivory film. Exactly. You did one of M. Night Shyamalan's films.
Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Shyamalan Ding Dong? Okay,
Shyamalan Ding
thanks.
Dong.
I always miss that.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. You know.
How are those experiences
Well, to me,
for you?
working with Night was a fantastic thing because there we were in one of his many houses that he has all over Pennsylvania and Philadelphia and all these places. And we're sitting down and we were preparing, and it's actually storyboarded like shot by shot. Mm-hmm. And we'd be talking about it, and the storyboard guy, I would say, well, let's do this. And he said, don't move. I said, why not? He said, well, I want to get this pose. And then it would take him like 15 minutes to make a drawing. For 3 months, we were drawing the storyboard of the film. And I figured, if I can survive this, I can survive anything. I felt like Russell Crowe, you know, master and commander. You know, if you can, and I think this is the challenge, like you say, to work with people who are not of the same, that's strange. Why would Night ask me to work with him? I guess in their special way, they're looking for something different. Why did Jodorowsky? I just did a film with Alejandro Jodorowsky. Why? So I guess in their way, they are hoping that this maniac will take them somewhere a little bit out of their comfort zone. I don't have a comfort zone. I just make it up as I go along, and I think this is the privilege of being a wild card. That you have. Yeah, it like I said, we're making moving pictures. We're trying to find the essence of what it means when it says she was very frustrated. How do you shoot frustrated? You tell me. So this is it. So this is this. So the wonderful give and take. I call it A Way with Words. This is my first film as director. A Way with Words means a way of using words to get to something beyond words, or it means discarding words in order to get to the essence of an idea, which is in film it's an image. In paint, it's the texture of the canvas and the whatever, the acrylic oil or whatever you do. So I think this is we're trying to get. I think hopefully in a different way, and some of the people here are collaborators in this journey. That So what is it really? It has to go beyond the story. It has to go into a space that engages.
I don't want to completely monopolize this. There are microphones here. If you have any questions for Christopher, just raise your hands. As they said as well, since we're recording this, please do speak in the microphone. So yes, anyone have? I'll keep glancing at it, but please don't be shy. Everyone is shy, so except for,
Germans, they're so shy.
Yeah.
So I was doing this film in Korea, and we were setting up. It's called Motel Cactus. It's 7 stories in one love hotel room, and very simple, And then we start, and then the gaffer, the lighting person, wasn't there, and I was the only non-Korean person on the film, so I said, like this, and then the gaffer is not there. The lighting guy is not there, but his assistant was. And then the second day, he's not there again. And the third day, I see him. It was a set. It was just it was a hotel room, but we made it in a film studio. And the guy is there, like looking from behind the set. I said, "What's happening with the gaffer?" And the director said, "He's very shy." Oh. Shy. He says, "Yeah, many Koreans are very shy." That's why they drink so much. Go ahead. Where's our beer sponsor, by the way? Yeah. I don't know. Again, this is. As you say, I started when I was 32 years old, and then I couldn't imagine something more appropriate to me than. I can move around, I can be with beautiful people, I can, go a little bit crazy, I can move, I can think on my feet, I don't have to sit behind a desk. I mean, why aren't you doing the same thing? Why aren't you, going to this wonderful space which is the space where you belong? And this is what always surprises me, that How did it happen? I didn't, as Willie Nelson says, I didn't come here, but I ain't leaving. So Willie's in a bar and he's been drinking and he's too drunk to leave, and he said, I didn't come here, because he doesn't remember, but I ain't leaving. And I think that's how I feel about filmmaking. I didn't come here, I didn't plant this, but how astonishingly appropriate that this journey has. Whatever, the give and take between how I am and what we do is just, every minute of every day, I have this astonishing pleasure of even looking at how much shorter the left side of your...
I know that. My wife told me that this morning, and I did too.
All morning he's been thinking about it. So, I mean, you notice it's a little bit longer.
It is actually
on
true.
the right.
That's why I'm trying to give everyone an angle so they never
That's
see
why
both sides
only
of the
I
face.
can see the left side of your face. And this is I think, why we're here, I guess. I think that you have... And that's why the films are the way they are, because we have to celebrate this astonishing gift that we've been given, which is life, which is looking. Now, you say I have a good story for a change, okay? So you say I changed the look of cinema, right?
It's been said, and I would argue the same thing.
But
yes.
you were quoting somebody else, right?
I was quoting someone else, yeah.
So there I was a year ago, and I don't know if you've seen any of my films, but most of them have... There's, for example, Ondine, the film I did with Neil Jordan, the greens are so beautiful, Fuji and blah, blah, blah. And then I always know, that green, as you can tell, it always had an attraction for me. And then my doctor says, it's because you have cataracts. You have like an orange filter on your eyes. So, of course, green is the one color that stands out most, so that's why you go for it. I said, what are we going to do? He said, well, we're going to cut your eyes open. I said, really? Good. And then he says to me, you can do this and that and this and that, but everything's going to look blue. I said, oh shit. Yeah, and it's true. So there we are. So he says, I got to warn you, from now on, once I cut your eyes open and put new lenses in there, of course, German lenses, of course, always, from lights. And then he says, it's going to be bluer and it's going to be one stop brighter. I said, okay. So there I was. I'm going to have the operation on Monday. So all weekend, I practiced the piano. Just called to say I love you. I mean, I was being, I could even tell the difference between a Heineken and a Carlsberg in my fridge. I mean, I was really practicing for 2 days. And then I go to the doctor, in the morning, and he says, are you okay? I said, no, I'm a bit nervous. He says, no. This is the doctor, one of the best doctors in Hong Kong. He says, I'm more nervous than you are. I said, why? He says, because today I'm going to change the look of cinema. Isn't that good? It's not my fault, it's my doctor's fault. If the films look the way they do, it's because of my doctor. It's like Megan Fox. We're doing this film with Megan, and I'm looking at, and then I change the lighting, and I change the lighting again. I said, this is astonishing. I mean, she's not my kind of girl, but wow. And I'm looking through the camera, I said, wow. She has the best, her doctor is a better cinematographer than I am. Because he made her face perfect for every angle.
What's been your experience?
Do you believe everything I say? I wouldn't believe everything I say.
Oh, one should never believe anything anyone says. You said before that you see your work with the actors as a dance.
Yes.
Who've been the best dancers for you?
Justin Timberlake. Oh, have you seen Taking Sexy Back? It was the most beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the. So there's Justin, and he just moves, And then we did the whole film. It's a 5-minute song. And now it's cut up into a music video, which we shot in Barcelona. And then, but because they want to edit it, so there it is. It's Justin and me with the camera and dancing together. It was just the most, it just took me, Then we tried to do a second take, and it was a piece of shit. So I don't know. I think this is it. Again, I really believe that our journey and our obligation and our pleasure is this Tai Chi, is this exchange of energies. this give and take, which is what Tai Chi is about. And Chi means energy in Chinese, So Tai Chi means big energy, actually. So I think that's really what it's about. So how do you get there? Like I said, I think that my journey usually is because the space, the location. And I always try to go and see the location as early as possible, so that that informs the way in which we. I think the space itself makes the film, not our critical choices. I think that even with Night Shyamalan, that ultimately you do depart a little bit from even something as scripted as he is, but especially in the kind of films that we tend to make, whereas the space itself is a character. We just did a film which is just released now in London called Stockholm, I Love You. I always get the name wrong. It's Stockholm, My Love, with Nena Cherry, who is a great singer from I guess most famous in the 90s. And it says the name of the film, and then it is starring Nena Cherry and the city of Stockholm. Isn't that beautiful? Mm-hmm. The co-star of the film is the city itself. And I think that's, to me, is extremely how we work. The style, for example, Hero. Yes, we have different colors, but we didn't have the colors until we found the locations. It wasn't like, we know red is difficult to find in the real life, so we know we have to build a set with red. But the other colors came from that we found this lake on the edge of Tibet, this beautiful blue lake, and you say, well, so this story should go there. And I think this is the great freedom of this approach to filmmaking, is that you have, yes, we intend to go in this direction, but it is informed by weather, the people you work with, the energy you have, the money you have. I mean, I think my cinematography is as much about budget as it is about so-called art. If we don't have the money, then we'll shoot it on a phone. Mm-hmm. It's okay. I think you have to have that. I think, to me, the money is as an important, a stylistic choice as the costumes, or as the location. And I think this is an important thing, that it is not us being precious or what's the name of my award tonight?
What? It's the Hollywood Reporter Award. So not being Hollywood is the term? Careful.
Do you know I'm getting an award tonight? They must have been drunk. Yeah. And so I don't know. So I think this is why we're talking, and that's why some people actually haven't. Nobody's left yet. This is really strange. Nobody's left. Ah, he's going. We'll find you. You can run, but you can't hide. Okay. And I think this is it. I think that if I can, my attitude is, if I can do it, anybody can do it. As fucked up as I am, as ridiculous as I am, as technically incompetent as I am, if I can do it, I think that's what gives a great message to the kids. I see often that younger people somehow they do. They just sit back and say, "Oh my God, he actually makes films. He can actually do it."
And quite a few of them. Some of them aren't half bad. I think we have a question back here. Can you get a microphone to her?
Oh, by the way, we only take questions from women. So if any of you guys have a question, ask the woman beside you to ask.
Okay. Please. So I'm the lucky one. Hello. I have a question. What is your relation to beauty? Because as a DOP, you're always responsible.
I was born this way. I'm sorry. Blame my parents.
You're always responsible to.
I don't know. For example, you said, what is the relation to beauty? I think that for example, I made a film way back, and then we had like 3 Miss Hong Kongs and all this, this, and it was a piece of shit. But then I thought, well, at least we can make it look good, I mean, I can't change the script. I can't change the abilities of the actors, how well or not well that they act, and the dialogue and the ridiculousness of the situations. But at least make a movie. At least I think this is now, what is beauty? Of course, then you say, a rainy, like we say, what is sorrow? How do you film sorrow? I think this is it. So this beauty actually is the beauty of intent to me. It's not the beauty of it's not the Megan Fox beauty. It's not the doctor beauty. It's not the cosmetic surgery. that kind of stuff. I think it is this astonishing give and take that you have between someone on the screen and your own engagement with what's happening. I think this is it. And again, ultimately, you have to be humble. I think you really have to be humble in the face of beauty. You have to, you can't encroach on it. It has to. Like I said, it's a source of energy to me, beauty. But it could be, a really unhappy person is beautiful also. So I think this is to me, this is the great pleasure of this journey. That, for example, I just did a film last year, which won all the awards, by the way. It's called Port of Call, and this young actress, 19 years old, and there we were. And there's in the story, it's an online relationship with this big fat guy, and basically she's very depressed and she wants him to kill her. I mean, it's a suicide pact basically, which is not the happiest story in the world. And yet, when we came to shoot that scene, where she actually says to him when they're fucking, she's naked and she says, I want to die. And it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Because this engagement and her purity of intent and the energy in which she brought to this role. I don't think she's ever been naked in front of other people before, I don't know about her love life or whatever, but it's like, what a privilege that this woman would dare, because of our engagement, because of our trust, because of the give and take that was this process of making this film together, that it became one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever shot. That's beauty.
Is there any other? Please, here, just wait for the microphone.
Sorry, you heard
yes, exactly.
You
You'll have
rules.
to ask the lady next to you.
Hi. My question would be, what advice...
Aren't you supposed to say, I'm from Stockholm and I grew up watching all of your films? You're supposed to say, fluff.
I'm not from Stockholm. I'm from Germany, actually.
And you grew up watching all of my films?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, I love this.
It's amazing the influence you've had on the youth.
I would like to know, what advice would you give to inspiring cinematographers who want to be successful in the industry?
I have these shoes that have this arrow, this thing on them. And it says, just do it. What? I mean, look, do you have a phone? Start filming. I mean, this is the great period of cinema, that you can make a film with anything now. And I mean, I've used films. I mean, I've used phones in our films. The quality is good enough that who cares? Again, as we're trying to say, it's the intention, it's the energy, it's the commitment, it's the give and take, it's the dance, it's the wonder that you actually can share with others. I don't wait. I mean, I was in Australia once, and the Australian Film Commission said to me, "Oh, we never look at a film unless it's been submitted for at least 4 years." So that means if you start making films at 18 years old, you'll only make 5 films in your whole life. I've made 100, And there's a Mexican cinematographer who made 238 films in his lifetime. So just do it, And this is the only thing. And of course, the important thing is to be with people you care about. It is not, don't believe everything he writes.
Please don't. Please don't. No.
It's true. You have to, an industry is a different thing.
And can I ask, how did you start out? Did you go straight into feature films, or did you do anything before, like short films or music videos?
I was part of a theater group. And we did a lot of stuff, Actually, I come from theater and dance. I've actually danced with Pina Bausch. Really. But a waltz. When Pina was in Hong Kong at the handover time. And I think this is it. I think to me it came from other areas, which is not not the usual journey. I think I have many great collaborator friends, and they all especially my American friends, they all say, "Oh shit, we're working with fucking James Cameron again," you know, or whatever, and they get so depressed because it's just a job, you know, and then the whole structure is about, you know, just throw more money in, and you know, we'll work it out in post-production. I think this is a very dangerous thing. The guy who did Narnia, I was in Poland. I was actually doing my own film in Poland, and he said to me, "Oh, Chris, I can't do it anymore. You know, 275 million. I mean, it's all about accountants. It's all about you know, it's not about filmmaking." He says, "In future, I'm not going to do another film for more than $30 million." To him, $30 million was low budget. For us, you know, $5 is enough to, you know. I think you really have to be. But of course, you need the support. You need the encouragement. You need the people that you trust. As I say, you know, film school is really good for your sex life. It's true, because you're with people who care about the same things. You have more time. You're not in the real world, so you have the time to engage with ideas. And even if you look at someone, even like Lucas and even the Spielbergs and all those, they all came through the same thing together. They're all friends, you know. So that's why they had mutual, you know, although they've gone somewhere special now. But ultimately, they were friends first, you know, and that's why they had the guts or the audacity to make something special. At that time, it was special.
Yes, please, here first, and then in the back, just.
Hi, was there ever a moment in your work career where you thought, I can't do this anymore, I
Yeah,
just
like
want to throw
last
it all
night,
away?
about 10 o'clock last night.
Now did you get over it?
Every single minute. I mean, you know, I don't know whether I'm sure some of you make films. I mean, there's not a single night that you can sleep well. I mean, there's one shot in Fallen Angels, which I made, 15 years ago, 10 years, I don't know. There's one shot every 2 months or so. It comes into my dreams, you know, because I used a slightly less wide-angle lens, you know. So of course, you know, you have to have the doubts, you have to have the questions, and you have to look for the, you know, for the response to them. And the only response is to do better. You know, as I said, my next film is my best film. You know, what is your best film? The next film is the best film. It has to be, and it really, you have to be hungry. You have to have this. You know, I have no idea. I mean, Jenny, who is sitting there, I have no idea if I have any money in the bank. I have no. I don't have an apartment anywhere in the world. You know, and it's great. You know, when I'm 64 years old now, and it's great to be hungry. I have no bloody idea, you know, whether I'll be working in May next year, you know. And that's how it should, you know. But it's not really fair to your family, by the way. So this is the thing. How do you balance that, you know? And I think, as I said, I've had many friends who are disappointed with their inability to balance, you know, their intent and their actual working situation. So it takes a bit of, you know, takes a bit of this.
In the back, I believe. Yeah, just enough.
Yo, hi. From Romania. Grew up watching some of your films. Two parts.
Some, yeah. They didn't have as many in Romania.
I'll send you all my pirated DVDs next week, okay?
Thanks. Two-part question. So you became kind of actually one of the most famous cinematographers, and I'm guessing you get a lot of stories and a lot of requests. How do you choose and what do you look for in a script?
People.
First question.
No, I don't give a shit about the script. It's always about people. It has to be. Why would you spend 6 months of your life with someone that you don't get along with, you know? You know, with Wong Kar-wai, it's like 5 years sometimes, you know. You know, if you don't love the people you're working with, what, you know. As I said, Shakespeare is not a bad writer, but how come so few great films have been made from his work? So to me, of course, the script is a whatever. It's a talking point. It's somewhere. It's a point of departure. But the film is the process. The process is the film. The film is the thing itself. And I think that's the great. The script, yeah. It is, but basically it's a discussion. Even when we made Psycho with Gus Van Sant, you know, I mean, which was supposedly shot by shot, we sneaked in some other shots, you know, because Because that's it. Because we we need to do it together. Because we care. Because we see something that excites us visually or emotionally. And to me, it's always about people. And that's why I say that. To me, the great honor is that so many young people come to me because, and again, I will pat myself on the back. They know I have enough experience that will get the film done, number one. Usually, I save at least 3 or 5 days of shooting because I'm very fast. And finally, you can use my name, which I'm very proud of, I mean, don't forget, I'm the Hollywood Reporter.
He's getting an award tonight. I'm not sure if you've heard.
I mean, what, there I'm going to talk to my agent about upping my price now. And then I think this is it. And it's a great honor that you have this trust. And I think that's what it's always about. And how would you trust someone that you don't love, Why would you be with someone if you didn't want to spend time with them? And then when you spend time with them, then you just expand together. I see very often when I'm making a film that, at my age, I'm still running around crazy, doing stupid things and, And then even the British, technicians get embarrassed, enough to actually do a better job. Because they're usually arrogant assholes, But then when they see me running around going crazy and really caring about what we're doing, actually they come up. And for example, we some of us here work with very inexperienced people, and yet after a week together, they're up there because they care, because they know our intentions are what it's about, not our abilities. And therefore, you do trust yourself more, and you do give more, and you do share more, and you do start to actually trust yourself, which is it's actually the most important thing. And especially for actors, that's really important. Once they trust themselves, then you as an audience will feel engaged with them. That's our job. You don't have to clap all the time. Only at the end of each sentence.
Thanks for that. It was just one second question.
Oh, no.
Then how does one get to hand you a story for, let's say, a short film?
Well, there's a bar around the corner, and I think if we go there right now, we can have a chat.
Okay, thanks.
I think up here as well, man up here, just...
But hold on, he's Romanian. He's Romanian. I can't drink him. He's going to drink me under the table.
Probably. Though I don't know. He looks a bit like
what am I doing? I can't have a drink with Romanians. I'll be dead by 3 o'clock.
Okay, I bet you're right. Yes, I'm not Romanian. I'm German.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I want to ask you, what would you say? I've read you working with a lot of young directors this time. How big is the influence of kind of stupid questions like I've read, how do we shoot with 30 crippled dwarfs, or what was it? I read in an interview of yours.
With Jodorowsky?
Yeah. And is there anything in your mind with some other question like that situation?
I mean, this is really scary. The actor, so we have this dwarf, right? In the last film, Poésie sin fin, Endless Poetry, it's called in English. And she's a dwarf. And she says, I have my period. I said, okay. And Alejandro says, we're going to shoot anyway. And I think, I don't know if you've seen the film or not, but I think it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever shot. But I mean, we're going to shoot a woman fucking a tall man, a dwarf fucking a tall man when she has a period. I mean, it doesn't sound very beautiful, right? But I think it's one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever shot. Because there was a complicity, there was a trust, there was it wasn't easy for her, of course, because this is heavy stuff, And yet there was something in the way that we engaged and made it as simple as possible. Actually, it's not at all shocking. It's not violent. It's not over the top. It really is quite. So I don't know. Again, like I said, I think humility is the number one thing to bring to what you do. But of course, like I said, with Shyamalan, you have to be master and commander. You have to have this balance between authority and assertiveness. You have to find, and you can only find that in yourself. I really, you can't learn it from others. It has to be your own journey. I can't tell you how to be a great filmmaker. I can't tell you how to be a great man. And look at this piece of shit. And then, but again, I think it is complicity. It is people. Work with the people you love. Work with people you care about, and you'll do something special. It might take a few years. I would say, on average, it takes 10 years to get where you
I also find the most beautiful thing I read that you told the interviewer that everyone you're working with is a close friend of yours.
Yes.
They're at least musicians or filmmakers, but not these filmmaker types.
Yeah.
And yes, I would underline it absolutely. You have to do something you love and share it with your friends.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, again, like I say, why would you spend time with with someone you don't love? It's tough, because it's 24 hours. It doesn't stop. Even in your dreams, the film is still going on, all the time. So it's exhausting, unless there's a sense of purpose, unless there's a sense of give and take, unless there's something, because you're giving so much, unless there's something, again, it's like I say, it's chi, it's Tai Chi, it's the exchange of energy. That's what good sex is about.
Thank you very much.
A couple more questions, if anyone, please. Just a few more minutes left. So,
where is that bar we're going to?
I think just right outside. I have to ask because you're talking about.
He talk? Never. I never talk. I was purely responding to your incisive question.
Oh yes, I'm sure. I'm wondering how much mistakes have to do with your have to play in your method.
You got me. You know the song? Leonard Cohen has a song called "There Is a Crack in Everything. That's How the Light Gets In." The name of the song is Anthem. It's true. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And I think this is it. This is the great. Every 10 minutes there's something going wrong. On a set, it starts to rain. I mean, when we did, for example, Ondine, it was really weird. There's two things that happened. There's one, we're in the south of Ireland, and Neil says, well, the light's going to change. I said, yes, that's great. We'll incorporate that. That becomes part of the so-called style of the film. Then I said, but it was, it was daylight. It was in summer. It was daylight until 11 p.m. at night. But half of the film is set, written. It's written that it was set at nighttime. I said, we should shoot day for night. And he'd never done day for night before. And he had no idea what we're doing. And then we start shooting day for night, and he's getting used to it. And then finally, and there's basically three characters in the film, and one of them is an 8-year-old kid. And in Ireland, legally, children cannot work after midnight. I said, how would you have shot the film if she's only working 20 minutes a day? I mean, it'll take a year to finish the film because she's in every scene, So these choices actually, in retrospect, they're not stylistic choices; they're actually practical choices. So there's a crack in everything, and it was just, to me, it was just so obvious that we should shoot. I didn't even know about this rule about the kids. So I think you have to go with this, step out of your comfort zone, to dare to make mistakes.
Is there a problem now then with? I mean, I know you embrace digital technology when it comes.
By the way, I was a mistake.
Yeah, well, aren't we all?
Really? My.
No, I was very planned, actually. My family was all, every 2 years they had a kid.
You were a test tube baby?
More or less, yeah. But enough of my parents' sex life. No, I'm just wondering if there's a problem now with the dominance of the post-production industry and so forth. That you
super question.
Yeah, that you...
Because the great thing
planned.
about film was, it is what it is. The mistakes, the material itself has inherent, disparities. It has something, so it has the guts. It has some, sense of. Whereas, exactly, I mean, now you see many directors. They don't want the cinematographer around anymore because they think that the whole thing is controlled in post. But then it becomes too perfect. I really think that those mistakes and those little errors, And even me, I catch myself sometimes in post-production doing, tweaking things and making them look better. Why not? I mean, if they are the way they are, that leave them as they are. The only problem is that there are so many people now between the image and its audience. There are a lot more people now between the camera and what happens. So how do you keep it authentic? That is a challenge. That's true. It's a big challenge to build into the film as a digital medium, to build in these cracks.
Right.
Right. It's a challenge, and people always want to fix it. Why fix it if it's not broken? Or why fix it even if it is broken? Because that's the. This is getting very serious.
Very, very serious. Well, go on. Maybe wrap up. I mean, what I'm always been impressed by, looking at the work you've done and you continue to do. One is your ridiculous energy. I mean, you seem to make 4 or 5 films a year or more.
10. Last year, 10 at least. I mean, I just made 2 films with Mark Cousins. The story of. Have you seen The Story of Film? You should. If you haven't seen Story of Film, go out and buy it right now. And we shot in 5 days. Each film is a 5-day shoot. Nowadays, I don't shoot anything that's more than like 20 days or so. Because, again, we're making a certain kind of film. We have to be responsible to the budget because we know, it's not going to be a blockbuster. It's not going to be released in 500 cinemas all over the States, or China. So I think this is a great privilege. So actually, we get to do more. So when I'm directing, it's kind of it slows things down a bit.
Well, so what drives you then? What keeps you getting up in the morning and going out and grabbing the camera and going to work?
I have this Romanian friend who's taking me to a bar later. I think that may be part of it. I think it's people. I honestly, I mean, like I said, it's this astonishing. Again, it's some gift. I don't know, Richard Dawkins will tell us there's no God, so it's not God who gave me this gift. It must be people, and I think this is it. And I think you have to return it as we're trying to do here today. Hopefully, as I said, if I can do it, you can too.
Well, I'm not sure if we could all do it, but glad for the inspiration to try. Please, applause for Christopher Doyle, winner of the Hollywood Reporter Award. Thanks so much.